Why is it that some people can walk into a room and literally own it? It's like they have an aura of excellence, while others are just hoping no one notices their $8 shoes squeaking across the floor. Why do some folks turn every idea into gold and others can't even turn their paycheck into savings? Well, guess what? Here's the twist that'll mess with your brain. It's not about working harder. It's not about being smarter. It's about mastering the psychology of wealth. Because rich people, they're not just playing the money game. They're hacking it, psychologically. By the time you finish watching this video, you'll fully understand 10 psychological tricks the rich use every single day, and that, honestly, you've probably never even thought about. Some of these are sneaky, some are straight up manipulative, and all of them are deadly effective. Let's get into it. Trick number 1, they train their brain to think in assets, not effort. Let me first explain a concept to you that I want you to remember for the rest of your life. Here's the poor man's mental operating system. If I work more hours, I make more money. Now here's the rich person's OS. If I buy more assets, I make more money, even while I'm sleeping. The rich think in multipliers, not minutes. They don't ask, how can I earn more? They ask, what can I own that earns for me? This is why someone with a $100,000 income from 3 rental properties is mentally freer than someone with a $200,000 salary working 60 hours a week. And the crazy part of both of them could have started with the same job, but one chose to reinvest time into leverage, not labor. But it's not just how they think about money, it's how they frame failure that separates them from the 99%. Here, let me show you what I mean. Trick number 2, they rewire failure into feedback. Pay attention to this now. Poor people see failure as final. Rich people see it as data. And don't worry, I'll show you exactly what that means with real examples. So just bear with me. Let's say you just lost $5,000 on that first business idea. To the average person, well, guess I'm not cut out for this. To the wealthy, that $5,000 just taught me what not to do with $50,000. See the difference? They treat mistakes like tuition, not trauma. They're emotionally Teflon coated. They don't crumble. They calculate. This is why rich people get richer after a loss, because their mind is trained to extract wisdom from wounds. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's mindset stuff. But the next trick, it's about manipulating time itself, and it's borderline unfair. Trick number 3, they buy time like it's a Lamborghini. All right, let's break a dumb myth wide open. You don't become rich by doing more. You become rich by doing less of the wrong things and more of the right ones. And the wealthy, they know that time is the only currency that doesn't refill. So what do? They buy time the same way regular people buy fast food, quickly, often, and with zero guilt. Here's a real-life example you should be able to understand. Take Sara Blakely, billionaire founder of Spanx. Early in her career, she paid someone to answer her phones while she worked on her pitch full-time. That one move gave her back dozens of hours per week, which she reinvested into thinking, creating, and selling. Now imagine if she had said, nah, I'll do it all myself to save money. Spoiler alert, no Spanx, no billions, just burnout. Remember this golden rule for life. The rich assign a dollar value to their time. Not hypothetically, literally. They'll say, based on my goals, my time is worth $200 per hour. Then, anytime something costs less than that to outsource, they offload it faster than a crypto bro dumps coins in a bear market. They're ruthless about this. They don't mow lawns, they don't clean their own gutters, and they definitely don't wait in line at the DMV if they can pay someone to do it. Why? Because those 2 hours they save could be used to build a pitch deck, close a deal, or, here's a wild idea, rest their brain to think clearly again. What does the average person do? This, unfortunately, is one of the biggest problems most young people have, and I'm sure you might be one of them. When it comes to the average, they hoard money like it's sacred, and throw away hours like they're unlimited. They'll drive across town to save 12 cents on gas. They'll spend 6 hours trying to fix their laptop instead of paying someone $50 to do it in 20 minutes. They'll clean the whole house before finally sitting down to work on that business idea. Here's the truth. If you treat your time like it's worthless, don't be surprised when no one pays you for it. The rich build what I like to call a time filter. Every task goes through it. Does this generate income? Does this grow my skills or network? Does this bring me energy or clarity? If the answer's no, outsource it automate it, or eliminate it. Simple, right? That's the framework. So instead of spending 3 hours organizing your inbox, you set up auto rules. Instead of making your own YouTube thumbnails, you hire a pro for $15 who crushes it. Instead of grocery shopping on Sunday for 2 hours, you spend $9 on delivery and use that time to brainstorm your next product. In the long run, over time, those hours stack up into months, even years, of extra productive time. That's how the rich get ahead, not because they hustle harder, but because they remove the clutter that slows everyone else down. And please, I have to pause the video right now and explain something to you. Most people will watch and don't apply anything I'm telling you. And it's not just this video. Our Financial Freedom series provides step-by-step videos to help you clearly understand how to build wealth the right way. Make sure to subscribe and join the channel for early access to our upcoming videos. Trick number 4, they leverage social capital like it's actual capital. Listen closely. Your network is not your net worth, unless you know how to use it. Rich people understand that being in the right room is worth more than being in the right job. They build relationships strategically. They don't collect friends. They collect value-based alliances. You know what that looks like? It's texting someone who can fund your idea. It's playing golf with a future partner. It's not spending your weekends debating sports stats with Dave from accounting. The rich don't just network, they invest in people the same way they invest in stocks, for returns. And once they've built that circle, they do something that makes average people uncomfortable. Trick number 5, they aren't afraid to monetize themselves. Okay, now this one stings because it's personal for me and kind of hard for me to touch on, but it's something you need to know. Most people are scared to sell themselves. Rich people, they're shameless. In the best way possible. They treat themselves like a brand, not in the cringy Instagram guru way, but in the I know my value and I'll charge accordingly kind of way. They negotiate salaries. They pitch their skills. They ask for equity, not just a check, because they know this truth. If you're not monetizing your knowledge, someone else is doing it for you and underpaying you for the privilege. But how do they get the confidence to do that? It starts with a psychological edge that flips fear on its head. Trick number 6, they reprogram fear into fuel. All right, let's talk about fear. That 4-letter F word that secretly runs most people's lives. Here's a dirty little truth. The average person is owned by fear. But the rich, they rent fear, flip it, and profit off the emotional real estate. Let me explain. The default response, fear as a stop sign. Most people treat fear like a burglar alarm. The second it goes off, they panic and shut everything down. Oh no, starting a business is risky. Investing feels scary. What if I lose my money? What if people laugh at me? What if I fail? You know what that kind of thinking leads to? Stagnation, regret, and a life that's just fine, but never phenomenal. Fear becomes the thing that talks them out of every breakthrough they were meant to have. What the rich do instead? Fear as a green light. Now here's what wealthy people have figured out. Fear is a compass. It doesn't mean stop. It means pay attention. When something scares them, they lean in, not pull back. Because here's the twist. Fear shows up right before a breakthrough, right before risk. And where there's risk, there's often reward. Real-life example, Elon Musk. Whether you love the guy or want to throw your phone across the room every time he tweets something stupid, one thing is true. The guy runs toward fear. Think about it. He took the PayPal money, could have retired with yachts and soft pajamas, and instead dumped it into 2 industries literally known for crushing billionaires: space travel and car manufacturing. SpaceX and Tesla were fear factories. People told him he was insane. He admits he was terrified, and he did it anyway. Because fear wasn't a red light. It was the signal that he was on the edge of innovation. The psychology behind it. The rich train their minds with a simple reframe. If I'm scared, it probably means I'm growing. Fear isn't the enemy. It's the border patrol between where you are and where your next level begins. The trick is learning to separate fear from danger. Your brain's still wired like a caveman's. It can't tell the difference between starting a YouTube channel and being chased by a tiger. Both trigger the same response: sweaty palms, dry mouth, excuses, but one is deadly. The other is destiny. Wealth psychology in motion. Here's what happens once you start doing this. You start investing even when the market's scary. You start pitching yourself for bigger deals. You say yes to opportunities that feel too big for you. and then grow into them. You act in spite of fear, not because it's gone, but because you've made peace with it. And that's where the power is. Because the truth is, wealth isn't built by those who feel fearless. It's built by those who feel fear and move anyway. What the average person misses. Here's the trap most people fall into. They wait until they don't feel scared anymore to take action. Bad news. That day never comes. Confidence is not the requirement. It's the reward. The rich know this. That's why they're 10 steps ahead before the average person even decides to start. It's hard to explain this in detail, but what I want you to do is this. Whenever you feel fear creeping in, say this. This is my signal. This is proof I'm stepping into something meaningful. Let's go. Write it down. Put it on your mirror. Tattoo it on your soul. I don't care. Just make fear your employee, not your boss. But even boldness needs strategy, and what the rich do next will make you question your whole relationship with money. Trick number 7. They separate emotion from money decisions. Let's be honest, most people treat money like a messy ex. They obsess, avoid, and make wildly emotional choices. The rich, they treat money like a math problem. Most people don't make financial decisions. They make emotional reactions that happen to involve money. And that, my friend, is how broke becomes a lifestyle. Emotion plus money equals expensive mistakes. Think about this. You're sad, so you buy a $400 pair of sneakers. You're bored, so you invest in that random crypto coin your cousin won't shut up about. You're angry at your job, so you quit with no backup plan and no runway. You're feeling rich because payday hit, so you treat yourself. And 3 days later, you're overdrafting for a gas station burrito. We've all been there. But here's what separates the rich from the rest. They refuse to let emotions sit in the driver's seat when money is on the table. Let me try and give you an example so you fully understand. Just look at billionaire investor Warren Buffett. Buffett's entire investing philosophy is built on detachment. He once said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." Translation? Control your emotional impulses, and you'll profit while others panic. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, people were losing their minds, selling everything, hoarding cash, freaking out. Buffett? He calmly bought stocks in companies like Goldman Sachs and walked away with billions when the dust settled. Because while others were in emotional chaos, he was sitting there with spreadsheets, logic, and snacks. Emotional traps the rich avoid. Let's expose a few of these. I deserve this. Spending. Emotional indulgence disguised as self-love. What if I miss out? Investing. FOMO investing is how your wallet gets wrecked. I'll deal with it later. Procrastination. Avoiding financial reality because it feels uncomfortable. But I don't want to look cheap syndrome. Flexing for approval instead of building quietly. Retail therapy because nothing says solving emotional trauma like adding debt. Meanwhile, the rich are doing the unsexy thing. They run the numbers. They wait. They let logic win. What the average person misses. Most people think emotions equals authenticity. If I feel it, I should follow it. But when it comes to money, feelings are often frauds. The rich know this. That's why they create rules to protect them from emotional sabotage. Here are some examples. I never invest without a 24-hour buffer. Any purchase over $1,000 waits 3 days. I revisit my financial plan every Sunday, especially when I feel like ignoring it. They build guardrails around their emotions so their bank account doesn't become roadkill. Here's a quick money trick you can use starting today. Before you spend, invest, or decide anything money-related, ask yourself, am I doing this because it makes sense? Or because it makes me feel better right now? Then wait. If the only benefit is emotional relief, it's probably not a smart move. But if it's strategic, if it's based on numbers, timing, and long-term upside, that's a green light. Now, while most people are stuck in their feelings, rich people are mastering one specific emotion and weaponizing it. Trick number 8, they use delayed gratification as a superpower. All right, this one is the marshmallow test, billionaire edition. While everyone's chasing dopamine hits, new shoes, new phone, new car payment, the rich are playing a different game. What can I delay now that will multiply later? They skip the flash and invest in freedom. They're okay being invisible now if it means being untouchable later. It's why the guy in beat-up jeans at Starbucks is worth more than the guy in the G-Wagon with $120,000 in credit card debt. The rich delay for domination. But even that kind of self-control needs one more layer. And this next trick, it's like mental jujitsu. Trick number 9, they reframe scarcity into strategy. You know what broke people say? I can't afford that. You know what rich people say? How can I afford that? That tiny shift is a psychological mic drop. It turns a dead end into a detour. They don't accept limits. They challenge them. And this doesn't just apply to money. It applies to time, resources, even relationships. Where others see lack, the rich see leverage. And the final psychological trick, it's the foundation under all of them. And most people never do it. Trick number 10, they constantly audit their beliefs. Here's a wild truth. Most people are broke because of beliefs they inherited, not decisions they made. If I make too much, I'll lose it. Money is evil. People like me don't get rich. Rich people challenge those ideas daily. They treat beliefs like software updates. They constantly ask, does this belief serve me or sabotage me? If not, they delete it and replace it with something profitable, because you don't build wealth by accident. You build it by intentionally rewiring the way you see the world. So here's the takeaway. You don't need a trust fund. You don't need a perfect plan. You need to rewire the way you think. Because the real wealth gap, it starts in the mind. 10 psychological tricks, all hiding in plain sight, all being used by the rich right now to pull ahead while everyone else is stuck in the same cycle. Because here's the truth. If you can master the game in your mind, you can master the game of money. So now the question is, which one are you going to use first? Let me know in the comments. In fact, if you've been following the channel a while, you already know about stealth wealth. But most people have no clue how quickly it can change your life. We break it down in this next video. Just click the one on the screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.